Place emphasize on stress.
We're gonna do I like to see everybody with the dictionary open and at least looking in with the partners, or being the initiator and opening the dictionary and making sure that each member of our group is working hard to get our working definition. Write the word and definition? Yes, we are to write the word and the definition down so that we can discuss the definition in whole group.
What interpretation?
Julia, make sure we are.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. I understand. Just a quick reminder. Go ahead.
Y'all know what interpretation is?
On page 1. I'm hearing some great conversations. It sounds like we should have some excellent working definitions for these words. So we are at our 10-second warning. In 10 seconds, we will come together as a group and we will discuss each word that we come up with and the definitions. If we do not have all the definitions, don't worry. We will find them together as a group. But it's important that we stick to our task and we move on. So in 10 seconds, everybody should be around their desk, tracking the board so that we can discuss each working definition as a whole group. So, looking at the prompt, what is the first word that your group circled, Jalea? What's the first group word that you circled?
And phrasing means to place.
Hold on, say that word again for me. Say that word again for me. Evaluate.
No, emphasize.
Emphasizing. So the first word that group number 3 chose was emphasizing. Remember, we're keeping our side conversations to a minimum. To emphasize Well, you get gray hair when you stress. So what does it mean if you stress something? If I told you to stress the E in emphasize, what am I telling you to do?
Put emphasis on.
Put emphasis on it. Go ahead, Antonio. Say this before you're going to say.
Put emphasis.
If I told you to stress the E and emphasize, what am I asking you to do? Yes, Antonio.
Say it out wrong.
To say it out, to say it out longer, to say it out louder. So, I'm going to provide you working definitions so you can kind of take what your group wrote and kind of mold it into the definition that I want you to use so that as we're going through the writing process, you have an idea, everybody has the same idea of what needs to be done and what is expected. So, emphasizing. Somebody reading this first working definition for me. Go ahead, Erica.
Showing or expressing the importance of a word.
Showing or expressing the importance of a word. So when I want you to emphasize a word, I want you to do just that. I want you to show or express what is important about that word. What is the second word that we circled in the passage, Antonio? What was the second word your group circled?
One single circle.
You only circled, so what was the one word that your group circled? Association. And so what did you find the definition for association to be? Go ahead, Anthony.
Association. The act of.
We should be tracking our speaker, so that means all eyes should be on Anthony. Anthony, bring me the definition for association.
The definition of association is the act of associating.
Is the act of associating. This dictionary seems to use the words to define the word. When you associate, what does that mean? When you talk, communicate with one another, right? So, read the definition again one more time, Anthony.
The act of associating.
So the act of talking, of congregating, of communicating with one another. Awesome job. Did anybody circle interpretation as a word we didn't understand? Wait, what? Interpretation. So, I tried to get the board because we're respectful of our speaker. So, interpretation is a simple explanation of what needs to happen. So, if I ask you to interpret what I'm saying, if I ask you to interpret a text, if I ask you to interpret a quote, I am asking you for a what, Bobby? If I ask you to interpret a text, I'm asking you for a what?
Explanation.
Correct. I'm asking you for an explanation. Go ahead, Ms. Shea, give me your working definition of evaluate. What does it mean to evaluate something? What does it mean to evaluate?
Read that.
Yes, you can go ahead and read this definition.
Consider or look at the value or the contribution of a text.
So when we evaluate a text, remember earlier we talked about how is it that we know whether or not we can trust the words that we are reading. And it's through the process of evaluation. When we look at a text, we evaluate whether or not it is truthful, whether or not it adds value to what we're looking for, whether or not it's even good or bad. And so to evaluate means that we consider or look at the value or the contribution of the text. So what does that text give us? The last word that I want us to consider, I'm going to go ahead and read that definition so that we can speed up and get on task, is advancing. It means when we say that we want to advance something, we need to grow. I need all eyes on the board, so that's 100% of my eyes on the board. 100% of eyes, and I'm waiting only on 2. I'm still waiting on 2. Advancing means to grow or to move forward. So when we have to advance an interpretation, if we have to advance a thought, a concept, that means we grow that concept. We add information that we learn, that we find out, so that other people can have more information. And they too, excuse me, can learn. The last part of what we have to do today is the prompt breakdown. And this is the part that will take most of our time. So, in our ELA classes, we work on breaking down the prompt and creating a list of steps so that when we begin to write our paper, you know where we need to begin and where we need to end before we start writing so that it makes our writing process much more smoother. So, the first thing we're going to do, or the thing we're going to do right now is answer this question right here. What will we need to do or know in order to answer the prompt? What you will do when I finish speaking is you will go back to your turn and talk. You will use the prompt that I asked you to write down, and you will create a list of steps. What will you need to do or know in order to answer this prompt? Things you should consider are the steps or the tasks that the prompt is giving you. So what is the prompt asking me to do? And then once I know what it's asking me to do, what will that require of me so that I am able to completely answer what the prompt is asking? You may turn and talk and begin to break down the prompt with each of your group members right now. Antonio, is it right? Right, that's it, step one. All right, step one is one. Step one is So right now, remember, we should be working to create a list of what we will need to do and or know in order to be able to answer this prompt. Okay. So I should hear level 1 conversations about what we will need to do in order to answer this prompt.
What's your stuff on it? So that you can have a good process to write your paper, because that's what you will use to write your